Hey, with us now, the director of the Earth Institute at Columbia University and special advisor to the UN Secretary General, Dr. Jeffrey Sachs. He attended yesterday's big White House job summit.
Okay,
Jeffrey Sachs,
fixed.
happy days, you're here again. Tell me, when did the hair stand up on the back of your neck? Did you feel the excitement? Was it like you start singing Happy Days Are Here Again? What happened at the job summit that's going to create new jobs?
Well, you know,
Oh my God!
it's not so easy. No one said it was.
Yeah.
No one said it was.
Okay, so what was anything accomplished yesterday that gives you great hope that things are going to turn around?
I'll tell
anything.
you what was interesting for me. There were a lot of business people there, quite interesting, and a lot of them said something that surprised me, which is that they can't hire the workers that they need right now. So the mismatch
not giving me any hope.
between unemployed,
What does that
huge,
mean?
they can't hire skilled workers. They can't find the welders. They can't find the people that really know the trades.
Oh, the trades, yeah.
So one of the things that came out is we've got a giant mismatch. We got unemployed kids who have dropped out of school, who can't afford to stay in school. And then we have people that have serious jobs to actually hire, and they can't make the match right now. So my advice, just listening to what I heard all day, was training, education. Part of this problem is that we got millions and millions of young people that don't have skills, looking for jobs or unemployed right now. We have firms that actually want to hire them, and we ought to be going back to training and education.
Gotta match them up.
We're not doing that right now. No, but that for me was something that I was, and a lot of people opened their eyes and said, "Whoa, I didn't know that."
Well, Doctor, let's talk about you've talked about the need to get politicians out of science, and it has really stunned me over the past few years that nothing gets more politicized than science. If you're talking about, hold on, let me a couple quick points.
Sure.
If you're talking about Terri Schiavo and whether she, what do the brain scans say? That a war erupts and everybody's an expert. If you talk about stem cell research, the same. Climate change, the same thing. It's become so politicized. And then tell me about, like, for instance, this ClimateGate issue, where you've got scientists connected with Gore. I guess they're very important scientists in this field that were apparently sending emails that made it look like they were playing with the numbers. Tell us, what's your take on that? Because you've got the right and the left fighting each other, and the rest of us are in the crossfire.
No, this is pretty serious, not what happened, but how it's being responded to. Because this is really trying to swift boat science.
Okay, but hold on a second. What happened is not important. These guys say,
is,
let's juice the numbers.
What happened is not a very big deal, no. And what happened is a tiny piece of a huge global independent scientific enterprise which has found for decades that we have a very serious environmental crisis.
Okay, and seriously, this is a serious inquiry by myself. I'm just telling you.
Of course.
I've got no whatever you call it, dog in the hunt.
Yeah.
As you can tell, how long I've been away from the South for a year now. But I understood these scientists are some of the most preeminent in their field. That they won the Nobel Prize. They shared it along with Gore for global warming. Are these guys like the stars of their field?
Let me just say that's a rhetorical thing that's said, because when the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change got the Nobel Prize, that's 1,000 scientists.
1,000 scientists. Okay.
So to say they got it is
so
rhetoric.
Let's move that across the side and then ask, are these men and women that get caught saying some pretty devastating things, are they leaders in the field?
Yeah, some of them. But in the sense that it's like a few chemists doing dumb stuff and could be major chemists, but it's a field that has thousands and thousands of people all over the world working. And it doesn't change the real science. Climate's going on no matter how we spin it.
Right.
Greenhouse gases and the atmospheric chemistry goes on no matter how we spin
everybody
it.
agrees with that, though.
No, they don't.
Is man affecting that change? That's the question.
No, what's happened? Yes,
That's the question.
Well,
is it man-made or is it cyclical? And apparently there was a global warming period during the medieval times that these guys said, let's cook the numbers so you can't tell that it heated up during medieval. Not a good thing to do. So you don't think, though, this is a big deal? Do you think these scientists should, since they've proven themselves to be hacks, do you think that their work should be disregarded?
The one that was the head of this thing stepped down. And that seems appropriate. But what's happening, and I think it's really serious, the Wall Street Journal, and I don't think they have a scientist anywhere near their staff on the editorial board. I don't see any evidence that they understand any of it.
Well, that's why we have Willie here.
But this is on such a relentless attack. What they're trying to do right now is say that science itself is a global conspiracy. Joe, if we go down that road, our country is completely lost. And
well, Sarah Palin is talking about it. I mean, last night...
there you go.
I mean, last night she tweeted, stand by for my Facebook entry on Obama's climate change experts and their latest shenanigans. Thank God ClimateGate truth is being revealed.
No, but this
you know how many supporters she has.
Yeah.
I mean,
but if we really decide that everything you can discredit science because everyone who flunked the chemistry exam, you were right. You know, those they didn't know anything. Our country is down the drain, and it's incredible to me. That's where the Wall Street Journal is deliberately pushing us right now.
But on the other side, shouldn't there be some soul searching here to say, let's stop? And this is my takeaway from it. Okay, for the past 4 or 5 years, global warming and the issue of it doesn't seem so much to have been treated like a science as a religion. Where let me finish. If you question,
I don't think it's right, though.
If you question, even question the possibility of global warming and the man-made effects, which I believe. I believe that, okay? But if you even question it, then you're a heretic. Then you are a knuckle-dragging Neanderthal, and you are immediately discredited, like these top scientists in the field tried to discredit doubters. We should, it's science. It's not religion. We should have inquiry. And shouldn't scientists, people on your side, be asking some really tough questions of these people? I understand what you're saying about the Wall Street Journal.
No. Look, of course, this is not the way to do things in these emails, but that's actually not what real science is, and that's not what's published, and that's not the hard work that thousands of people do every day to try to do incredibly ingenious things to figure out what's happening on the planet. And the sophistication of what's being used right now, the satellite data, the digging of ice cores and finding tiny isotopic changes to detect how carbon dioxide affects the climate, the incredible sophistication of what's done and what's published in hundreds or thousands of pages every week, which is a huge undertaking. And then for the Wall Street Journal to come along and say, science is a scandal, they're all after the money. What a joke.
So let me ask you the question that these guys in England were trying to brush aside. So we do have, obviously we have climate change and we've got warming. Is it different today? Is it more significant today than it was during this medieval period that they were trying to sort of brush to the side?
I think the real question is not that question. The real question is, given what we're doing in how much oil, coal, and gas we burn, what are the threats we face? That's the real question. Now, back already in 1820, they started understanding that if we do this, this can change the climate. With China and India and the U.S. being such a huge part of the world now, we're in danger.
What do we have? With 6 billion people on the planet,
7 billion.
7 billion people. 7 billion. It's going to get up to 10 very soon. Just go to L.A. and look at the expressways and ask yourself whether that multiplied hundreds and hundreds of times over is not going to affect this environment in a negative way. And you look at China and you look at India.
That's what's happening.
Those cities are just they're smog-filled, they're horrific. It has to have an impact.
But they're not on the reform train.
An impact not only on our atmosphere.
They actually want to get on the reform train. That's what's interesting. But if we just trash all the science in the fun of it, if we have Sarah Palin now being our climate scientist, we really are down the tube.